Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. In my opinion, if you're going to buy a Grand Seiko dive watch, you've got to buy the Grand Seiko Diver SBGA231, the 2017 dial update to a watch originally released at Basel 2008. This is the most versatile, most wearable, most comfortable, and in my opinion, and it is just an opinion, the most handsome overall among the Grand Seiko dive options. Now, titanium, grade 5, or what Grand Seiko calls high-intensity titanium, it's basically grade 5. It is a very light watch. It feels like it might be a 40 or a 41 watch in steel with full bracelet. It is big, however. My wrist 16 centimeters in circumference. Keep in mind, you're looking at a 44.2 millimeter case. It is nicely shaped, though. You can see how it arcs around the wrist, and the shape of the lugs, as much as the span of the lugs, matters. You can see that the case across the wrist is either 50.6 millimeters if you measure just the lugs, and if you measure the end lengths, the solid end lengths of the bracelet, it's a beefier 53.3, but I can still recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters circumference because of the lightness of the titanium and the shape of the lugs. The thickness of the watch is 14 millimeters, so it's not too thick for a diver automatic, and I would say you can fit it underneath just about every jacket cuff and most sleeves. The spacing between the lugs is a beefy and modern 22 millimeters, something I'm not used to seeing from Grand Seiko watches. It gives the watch a more contemporary look than a lot of Grand Seiko products. The bracelet, like the watch itself, is crafted of titanium. We'll get a little bit closer here, and you can see that the titanium bracelet is nicely articulated. You have staggered link alignment, you have alternating polish and satin finish. There's a nice little polished lip that transitions from the hoods to the flanks, and you can see that little polished bevel shoulder continues all the way down. It's like something you'd see on a Nautilus or a Royal Oak, and I like it a lot. Grand Seiko bracelets are always pin sleeve when titanium. So when titanium, you're going to have individual links that are fixed with pin sleeves, so just be prepared for that. Most of the sizing that you'll do once you have the general sizing is going to be done using this multiple anchoring point inside the clasp, so use your strap tool to change the anchoring point in the clasp, but there's also a slider system, and you can use this while it's on the wrist. So just like the slider system on the Rolex Deep Sea, this gives you the ability to size precisely without actually dropping your watch in a marine environment where you could easily lose it. You simply lift these two tabs and then you move, and you can pull it out all the way and get quite a good deal of extension, or you can pull it out just a little bit and use it as more of a sizing mechanism than a dive extension. What I like is that this is one of those sure-tight clasps that's never given up on you. There's a trigger release system, and then on top of that there is a clamshell, so it's double locked once you've locked, and even when it's closed you can actually pull those tabs up and you can make some sizing adjustments while the clasp is actually closed, which is a nice feature to have. Now the case itself is that Zalitz machine Zaratsu polish, Zaratsu basically being a sort of translation of the German word Zalitz, and those are machines with spinning tin plates originally imported from Europe and probably used to virtuosity at a level no longer really seen in Europe, but by Seiko and Grand Seiko instead within Japan. So this tin plate polish is basically eye-hand coordination as well as the experience of the artisan, creating the optically smooth mirrored finish. It's like the black polish you see on Swiss mechanical movements at a very high level on very small parts, but executed on a huge scale. And I'm impressed that these are micrometrically identical facets. As you can see, the lines, the creases, millimetrically identical side to side and corner to corner, and all of that done by manual means. This is a hand-finished watch, very impressive, and it's done using titanium, which is far harder to finish than steel. You will see very few SBGA 231s relative to the SBGA 229 in steel. This is a very rare watch, even among Grand Seiko divers. The bezel, you can see, features alternating satin and polished aspects. It's deeply knurled and it's easy to turn. Let's hear the detent. I'm going to opine that the feeling is very, very refined, maybe too refined. It's deliberate. It's a feeling that Grand Seiko sought to achieve. It's a little bit like a Blancpain 50 Fathoms, and that's not a bad role model. The dial is ringed by an ADLC bezel insert, so you line up the bezel with the minute hand. Now you've got a great 0 to 60 minute timer. Give me a dive bezel over chronograph any day. ADLC isn't quite as scratch resistant. That's amorphous diamond-like carbon. Not as scratch resistant as you'll find on a ceramic insert, but it also can't fracture or shatter like a ceramic insert. The dial features a steep flange that arcs down to the dial base, and you can see you read the seconds and the minutes off that flange. The seconds hand is perfectly smooth. There are no steps. Because of the nature of spring drive, which is operated by a unidirectional governing wheel, the hand simply sweeps continuously. It's a visual signature as spring drive. The dial base is matte black, so there's no reflection. All of the dial features, the hands, the indices, are hand finished and look a little bit richer than you'd expect on a watch at this price point. There is a wonderfully weird cathedral style hour hand, unusual on a diver, and a broad arrow minute hand. You've got a power reserve for the 72 hours of reserve to marche. You've got a date window. There's a stop seconds feature and a quick set date. The watch is water resistant down to 200 meters. That spring drive system is accurate to plus or minus 15 seconds a month. And you can see the case back with the Grand Seiko Lion. Underneath is the caliber 9R65, automatic winding, 72-hour power reserve, quick set date, stop seconds. It does have that spring drive system, which is a hybrid of mechanical and quartz. The induced current from the motion of the governing wheel, which is turned by the spring, ultimately regulates the watch, but there are no batteries, there are no capacitors, and there are no motors. This is a lifetime movement, more accurate than any Swiss chronometer. It's also important to note that this 30 joule movement is watchmaker built, watchmaker regulated, and when the time comes, watchmaker serviced. So this is the full luxury watch experience, but in a distinctly Grand Seiko package with a distinctly Grand Seiko heart in the spring drive system. The best of both worlds, Grand Seiko on the inside and out. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Grand Seiko SBGA231, an absolute torch at night.